Beloved soul, take a quiet moment, inhale deeply, not just into your body, but into your innermost being. Allow everything surrounding you to hush. Let the clamor of your thoughts ease, and the burden pressing against your chest gently dissolve. For what's approaching isn't merely an inspirational thought. It is a call from eternity, a beckoning from realms unseen that has waited for you to become still enough to finally perceive it. This isn't a mistake. You haven't stumbled into this experience by random alignment. It has sought you because the heavens have whispered your name, and destiny has finally synchronized with divine timing. Though you may be unaware, you've already drawn attention, not from adversaries or nameless faces, but from the eternal realm itself. There have been moments you couldn't explain, those passing chills, that sense of being seen. That wasn't your imagination, it was your spirit recognizing the invisible hand of God tracing your steps. The Creator has been pursuing your heart long before you realized it. Through sleepless nights, through the quiet ache that lingered, through the sacred hush that followed your cries, He was there, but the disarray of life muffled His voice. The constant motion dulled your inner perception. The pain made it harder to trust what you felt, and still heaven waited, not impatiently, but in love, until now. Now the season has changed. Heaven no longer speaks in whispers, but with clarity and certainty. Delay has expired, the scroll has been opened, a border has been established, and you, beloved soul, are being summoned, not just to awaken, but to move into something timeless, something holy, something authored with your identity before you ever breathed. You are not unseen. You have never been discarded. What lives within you was never meant to remain in hiding. The Eternal has followed your footsteps, and at this very second, a divine directive has gone forth. You are not where you stand by accident. You are upon consecrated ground, and before moving forward, let this truth find a home in your soul. You are not merely reading about this story. You are the shift in its course. You are the evidence. You are the ordained hour. This is your commission, and heaven awaits your acknowledgement. If these words stirred something deeper than emotion, if your soul recognizes a resonance it cannot dismiss, then do not allow this sacred moment to slip away. Type 99 in declaration. I accept my calling. Let it echo in the heavenly books. Let the shadows hear it. The called one has heard and is answering. There is something vital for you to fully grasp. You were observed not by accident, not casually, but intentionally, carefully, and without announcement. A man was dispatched, not to bring you physical harm, but to examine what you've concealed in the depths of your spirit. He wasn't labeled a criminal in the natural world, but in the realm of spirit his actions carried weight. His mission came from someone once close to you, someone who had access to your life but never truly knew your soul. This individual lacked the humility to confront you directly, so they chose to investigate you through distance. They tried to decode your silence, analyze your stillness, and uncover who you've become without their presence. They didn't want conversation. They wanted clarity without vulnerability. They feared your evolution, feared that your calm indicated you had grown past their reach. So instead of asking, they spied. But they didn't know what they were walking into. They thought they were studying a person. In truth, they were encroaching upon sacred ground. They touched something set apart. They believed they were uncovering information, but they were trespassing upon something designed by the divine. As C.S. Lewis once wrote, "There are no ordinary people. We have never talked to mere mortals. This timeless truth magnifies the depth of their misstep. The one who instigated this probe assumed they were dealing with a simple human. They failed to recognize that you carry divine essence. Your serenity, your silence, your inner shift, these are not casual changes. They are divine markers protected by God Himself. Their investigation stirred a response in the heavenly courts. God wasn't ignorant. Heaven didn't turn its gaze. From the beginning, everything veiled was being noted, not for shame, but for justice, as truth is written in Luke 8:17, all things hidden will be revealed. This is that hour, the moment of illumination, when the unseen becomes undeniable. Yet the twist lies in what the man discovered. He didn't find secrets, he found sanctity. He expected brokenness, he encountered sacred strength. He anticipated scandal. Instead, he found stillness forged in prayer. He witnessed faith that didn't advertise itself, and though he attempted emotional distance, something shifted within him. The light he observed altered him. He couldn't walk away unchanged. He abandoned the task. He departed from the mission, and in that act, he confirmed what heaven already proclaimed: "You are not common, you are consecrated." The orchestrator of this violation might still think they hold influence. But they crossed a spiritual boundary, and now the eye of the Almighty watches, not to punish, but to establish divine justice. Heaven does not permit the sacred to be treated like curiosity. What resides in you is not a spectacle, it is a revelation. And the revealing has started, not just for others, but for you. You are being awakened to things formerly hidden, not to crush you, but to ignite you. This is not a time to retreat in fear. This is a time to rise in discernment. You were observed, but now you see. The heavens do not stay silent when the chosen are breached. God does not sit idle while the sanctified are examined without consent. When the watcher walked away, broken and confused, he did not just leave behind a mission. He stepped directly into divine encounter, and when his eyes were opened, when his soul trembled under the weight of what he saw, heaven issued a new command. You might not have heard it with your ears, but in the realm beyond sight, where battles rage without weapons, an angel was appointed to your life, not simply to sue, but to war on your behalf, to stand guard, to make a way for what's next. As Lewis penned in the Screwtape Letters, courage is not merely one virtue among others. It is the essence of every virtue at its most tested. That courage now becomes your banner. The guardian sent to you does not coddle. It fortifies. As you face this pivotal point in your destiny, your courage, your purity, and your sacred resolve take center stage. For many days now, even as you walked through life unaware, there's been an angel positioned beside you, not idle, but alert, reading the spiritual environment, guarding your rest. Whispers of truth delivered while the world shouted lies. This is not fantasy. This is divine reality. Heaven answered the moment it saw your peace being analyzed like a puzzle. God responded the second he saw someone trying to dissect what he deemed holy. His reply came not with noise, but in strategy, quiet at first, resolute in its fulfillment. That unexplained pressure in your chest. Those nights you couldn't rest, they weren't random, they were signals. The atmosphere around you shifted. The invisible line in the spirit was being drawn. That's why the air changed. That's why people's energy felt strange. That's why you've sensed something stirring. It's because something irreversible is taking place. You are being enclosed, encircled. Your essence is now protected. Heaven is no longer permitting your presence to be accessed at will. And the angel assigned to you, they don't wait for your hesitations. They await your alignment. The moment your inner being says, yes. The moment you refuse to minimize your essence for the comfort of others, the divine orchestration accelerates. Destiny isn't just measured in years, it is measured in readiness, and you, chosen one, are now in position, not only for purpose, but for defense, for honor, for unveiling. You were never abandoned. Though you were being observed, you were simultaneously being shielded. The angel didn't arrive late. They were already stationed, but now they are active, empowered. not wielding violence but divine jurisdiction. And from this hour forward, no one, no force, no curious eye may intrude upon the sanctuary of your being without repercussion. The line has been etched. This space, your life, your love, your radiance, belongs to the divine. This is sacred now. You are sacred now, and what was done in secret against your spirit was not simply a betrayal. It was a trespass into the realm of the holy. You are not just protected, you are preserved, not simply healed but honored, and what heaven has sealed, no hand may now unseal. The individual who brought that person into your space, the one who chose silence over truth, stepped into territory that was never theirs to cross. Perhaps it started innocently, curiosity, yearning, or uncertainty, but even the purest motives cannot erase the weight of the impact. What looked like concern transformed into control, and when you withdrew, when your essence stepped back, they didn't seek divine guidance, they schemed. What they didn't grasp was this: you are not just a human being, you are a sacred vessel, marked by purpose, watched over by eternity. Heaven guards what is holy, and there is no tolerance when sanctity is breached. When someone observes your spirit without respect, when they choose curiosity over compassion, when they crave closeness without reverence, heaven responds, not with chaos, but with divine order. The violation wasn't merely against your space, it was against the sacred presence that lives within you. That is why you've sensed unease with certain people, why your rest has felt disturbed, why your inner world has been subtly altered without any clear reason. The cause: heaven has unveiled what was hidden. Even if no one admits it, even if no one seeks your forgiveness, the divine has seen it all and has already spoken, not just to them, but to any force that presumed it had a right to step into your spiritual atmosphere without consent. Hebrews 4:13 affirms this: nothing in creation is concealed from God. Everything stands exposed before the one to whom we must answer. No deception, no silence, no secret desire can conceal a heart from the eye of the Almighty. You who are chosen must know this truth. This isn't about seeking revenge. It's about recognizing divine authority. God is restoring order in your surroundings. He is removing influences that were never sanctioned. A spiritual barrier is being drawn around your soul, a sacred shield saying, no further. C.S. Lewis once observed that though we may ignore God's presence, we cannot escape it. It fills every inch of creation. That awareness is now proving true in your life. The one who tried to intrude upon your divine space could not sidestep God's attention. Even their quietest intentions have been seen. The unease you felt isn't just human disappointment. It is the movement of divine authority, uncovering what tried to stay hidden. And yes, it stings to know you were studied when you needed support. It hurts to learn that someone you trusted chose silence instead of truth. But let this wound bring wisdom. Let it show you that the distance surrounding you now is not abandonment, it's consecration. God isn't retaliating. He's preserving the treasure He placed in you from being defiled by those who are not prepared to value it. And for those who looked into your depths without love, this is a divine alert. Heaven sees, God acts. The place they stepped into is not just another space, it is holy. Sooner or later, the person who started this will confront the weight of what they did. It won't be through dramatic scenes or grand admissions. It'll be internal, personal, a reckoning in the quiet of their soul. What they saw in you was beyond their readiness. They braced for anger or rejection, but what met them was calm, a peace that doesn't need validation, a stillness rooted in heaven. And that unshakable serenity became their mirror. It didn't pacify them, it convicted them. Whether they admit it or not, they now know. They crossed not just a personal boundary, but a spiritual line. You need to know this too. Remorse does not equal readiness. Forgiveness is sacred and necessary, but it does not require you to reopen pathways God has closed. Just because regret exists does not mean restoration should follow. Some people may regret their actions, but that does not mean they are equipped to respect the person you've become. As hard as it is to accept, this is a divine separation. Not every emotion is safe. Not every bond is trustworthy. Not everyone who saw you suffer deserves to see you shine. You're being called to a higher discernment, one where love does not mean sacrifice, one where you can extend grace without erasing your boundaries, one where you release yesterday not because you're cold, but because your destiny demands it. That's spiritual maturity, not retaliation, but revelation. You're not shutting doors in bitterness. You're honoring your consecration. And so, yes, offer forgiveness, but let that be the seal to an old chapter, not the invitation to repeat it. Forgive to keep your heart unburdened, your soul light, your hands open for what's next. You can't move into your new season while clutching the injuries of the old one. You can't create from divine inspiration while staring backwards. Let go. Not because they've earned it, but because you're worthy of the freedom it brings. As Isaiah 54:17 assures, no weapon forged against you will succeed. That includes covert manipulation masked as remorse, sudden apologies meant to regain entry, words wrapped in affection but intended to regain control. Don't be swayed. God is separating what can't follow you into your next level. He's clearing away the unnecessary, and all you need to do is walk toward the peace. Don't let the familiar comfort of old wounds lure you back. Let God handle their transformation. Let the heavens oversee their correction. You were never meant to carry their guilt. You were called to reflect truth, not to police repentance. And now that your reflection has served its purpose, it's time to move, without baggage, without distraction, without regret. This isn't cold-hearted, it's clarity. You're not choosing isolation. You're stepping into inheritance, so release them, bless them, move onward. The way has been opened, not by human striving, not by ambition, but by divine timing. This isn't just a turning point, it's a sacred appointment. You've already crossed the threshold. The atmosphere has shifted. Whether your senses realize it or not, heaven is at work. This moment is not merely transitional, it is transformative. And it didn't arrive by chance. It was etched into your destiny long before this world spoke your name. Starting Sunday, June 15th, you entered into a sanctified rhythm, a divine countdown, a spiritual sequence arranged to do more than rescue you. It's here to reframe you. You've stepped into more than realization. You've stepped into refinement. These 10 days, June 15th to June 25th, are not symbolic gestures. They are strategic encounters. Each one carries divine instruction. Each one touches the unseen parts of your life. These aren't ordinary days. They are heavenly blueprints, each with a mission. The skies may not roar, the ground may not shake, but your spirit will sense it. Your perception will heighten. A deep current will draw you inward. This season is not merely about seeing truth. It's about living it. You will encounter friction in your thoughts, in your relationships, in your soul, because what is emerging within you unsettles what once restrained you. But don't fear the pressure. That pressure proves something sacred is forming. In asterisk, Mere Christianity asterisk, C.S. Lewis said, "It may be hard for an egg to turn into a bird. It would be a jolly sight harder for it to learn to fly while remaining an egg." You are no longer meant to remain in your old shell. That shell is cracking. Let it break. Within this 10-day span, divine clarity will reveal what needs to be released. You'll gain insight into who must be loved with distance, what must be surrendered without hesitation, and where your next steps must lead, even if they tremble. You'll be asked to let go, not only of others, but of outdated versions of yourself. You'll be invited to forgive more deeply than ever, to trust more wildly than before. Each day is an elevation. Each act of obedience unlocks something. And when June 25th arrives, you will have changed. Not because your surroundings shifted, but because you have. Because something inside you finally whispered yes. I refuse to minimize who I am any longer. I will not postpone my progress again, nor will I relinquish my inner calm to make others feel better. The moment that resolve solidifies within the soul, it resounds through eternity. Understand this now. The 10 days ahead aren't a coincidence, they are divinely orchestrated. Should you ignore their significance, you will stall something already sanctioned by the heavens. If you treat these days casually, you risk bypassing a sacred opportunity custom designed for you. This is the answer to prayers you've forgotten you whispered, the reply to the hopes you barely dared to think out loud. This is divine orchestration, and you are in the thick of its rhythm. So now, chosen soul, let your reaction carry the weight of this season. Let your stance show that you know this ground is not ordinary. If something within your spirit recognizes this call, don't hesitate. Declare it. Embrace the 10-day commission. Say it out loud, record it. Proclaim it in writing. Let your declaration be heard by the heavens, because after this passage closes, the version of you that entered it will be no more. A signal is approaching, not a random event, not a fleeting emotional high, not a subtle comfort, but a sacred declaration directly from God's realm, signaling a pivotal shift in your life's narrative. It won't come with noise or prior notice, but when it emerges, your essence will recognize it. Something within you that predates memory, something stronger than reasoning, will whisper, "This is what you've been waiting for." This is not to dazzle you, nor is it granted for amusement. It is a test of your alignment. Before any revelation, there comes one final proving moment. This is not punishment, it's verification. Heaven must see you will not trade your purpose for safety, or your growth for convenience. This test could manifest in a message from someone you've let go, an old relationship showing up still half wounded, a question tempting your past identity, or an offer that contradicts your peace. The real test won't be in what is said, it will be in how it feels. This isn't the moment to react instinctively, it's the moment to remain composed. God is watching how you reply to what once tried to dismantle you. Will you explain yourself to those who once dissected you like an object of curiosity? Will you revisit chapters God has already ended in grace? Will you settle for the familiar instead of reaching for the sacred, even if it feels uncertain? This sign is not just validation, it is a marker. It will declare to the heavens that you are no longer chained to patterns that once controlled you. If you pass through this final moment with faith, a rupture will occur in the spirit. Invisible chains will be shattered, lingering delays will lift, sealed gateways will swing open. You won't need to struggle to open these doors, they'll seek you. But if you meet the sign from a wounded place, you might misinterpret its meaning. If fear guides your response, you might step backward. That's why these 10 days are preparing you, not to act out of brokenness, but out of wisdom. You're not who you once were, the one who begged for acknowledgement, the one who justified being overlooked. You've matured in the quiet, layer by layer. Your strength is no longer in volume, but in stillness as the sign nears, and it will remain anchored. Stay calm, stay observant. There is no need to announce your peace or prove your elevation. Just embody it. Let divine serenity govern your choices. Let sacred understanding guard your steps. The one who overlooked you will now witness the transformation firsthand, not because you demanded recognition, but because God unveiled what he had been crafting. Get ready. The signal is approaching, and with it, A revelation is on its way. You've heard the spiritual stirrings. You've sensed the trembling inside. Now, on the edge of something eternal, the divine doesn't require more analysis. It calls for your acceptance. What's been shown wasn't for curiosity. It was for agreement. You are no longer watching from the sidelines. You're in motion. What was once spoken into your life wasn't motivation. It was instruction, divine blueprinting. And now that architecture unfolds, this is not a time for distraction. This is not a space for spectacle. It is a moment of awe, a quiet before a holy crescendo. Heaven has been arranging things around you for this precise moment. The environment shifts again, not for more clarity but for divine sealing. This isn't a conclusion, it's consecration, the shift from receiving a word to becoming the embodiment of it, and once God seals it, no earthly force can undo it. So pause, let your breath even out, let your heart soften, let this be more than just another scroll by. It is a sacred commitment between your soul and God's presence. The surroundings don't have to be flawless. You don't need background melodies, just a willing heart, willing to be silent, willing to be honest, willing to relinquish burdens never meant for you, willing to welcome what fear once said you couldn't have. This isn't mere speech, it's a spiritual key, a portal, a spiritual act, and if you speak this with sincerity, aloud or silently, things will stir in unseen realms. So pray not as one begging, but as one beloved. Not uncertain, but chosen. Heavenly Creator, I enter this moment not in anxiety, but in abundance. I acknowledge the sacredness of now and vow not to treat it as trivial. I release all that no longer aligns, fear, guilt, bitterness, the echoes of outdated voices. I discard false labels and every agreement made with smallness, secrecy, and shame. I refuse to shrink for others' convenience.